Welcome to the dark side of BEASTwriter. It is another Pick Six segment. I'm your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and today we're going to be discussing all things silver and black here in the DOB. If you're new to tuning in, thank you and mahalo for tuning in the first place. And also, if you have yet subscribed to the channel, please do so in the lower right-hand corner of your screen as you state, or is it this way? This way or this way? Anyways, there's a subscribe button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and we will keep you updated on all things silver and black. So there's a lot to discuss. I know I've been fielding a lot of DMs on what's going on with the locker room. Is it a toxic locker room? What's going on with the term quote unquote buy-in that we've been talking about since training camp, and who's buying in and who's not buying in, and what's the pulse of the team moving forward? Because let's face it, that's why you guys have me, right? That's why you guys follow me, because at the end of the day, I'm the one that's there Monday through Friday. And so if I'm going to go ahead and say something, I better know what I'm talking about, right? Like, you can't just say something and not know what you're talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and break it down just in simplest form. But again, we're going to peel back layers of the onion to really get to the core, as I always like to say in my podcast. And I spoke with Davante Adams today. I asked him about the buy-in. That's what this podcast is going to base around, because let's face it, Davante Adams is the face of the franchise. And you can say that Derek Carr's the face of the franchise, but I would say Davante Adams is also a face of the franchise. So you put 1A and 1B together, and they're both kind of echoing the same analysis or concerns or whatever the case may be in their responses to some of these questions that we're asking from the media perspective. And I think you're going to get a strong pulse on what's really going on, right? And so I'm going to give you the skinny on it. So let's go ahead and get started on that. All right. So again, if you guys are watching, there's 18 of us right here. Hit the like button, give it a thumbs up, and that way other like-minded Raider Nation family who may not follow me will be able to do so just based on your hitting the like button, because if you do that, it's going to be a recommended video on YouTube. So please be sure to do that. Give it a thumbs up and also engage with us here in the platform. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get to some of your questions and some of your concerns. But let's go ahead and start with the injury report. For those who don't know how the NFL works and formulates the injury reports, it starts on Wednesday. Well, for a Sunday game, it goes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then obviously there's no practice on Saturday or anything like that. And then you have game. All right, so right now, this is the first day of practice that we saw open to the media on the Wednesday. Obviously, the game's on Sunday. So the injury report for today, I'm just going to break it down for you guys so you guys can see exactly how that injury report looks like as we head into the Denver Broncos' second game between the two teams. As the first game, the Raiders won. That's one of the wins that they have against the AFC West, and it ended up being the Denver Broncos. All right, so here we go. Ameer Abdullah, he had an illness. He was held out of practice today. I spoke with Ameer Abdullah shortly after the game ended, in the post-game in the locker room a little bit briefly. And I don't know what kind of illness he has, but he's been out with an illness. I know the illness. I was going to say the injury bug. Like I have the injury, but no. The illness has been going around. I got the illness bug or the flu bug or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of people that got it. And so it's going around. So Ameer Abdullah not feeling the best. He's been held out of practice today. And he's a big piece of not only what I've seen in my grading system in terms of, and we're going to talk about the grading system because I ran grades up until 3 a.m. this morning. And so I have those grades for you guys. I'm going to spit those facts out for you guys and fact check everything for you. So, but getting back to Ameer Abdullah, a great player, great guy, great person. And if you guys followed me in the DOB, I always said that this guy has the charisma. I wouldn't be surprised if he was coaching someday after his playing career is over, because this guy really gets it from the shoulders up. He's a really smart, durable football player, and he's the type of guy you kind of want to be around. He's the type of guy you kind of want in that locker room. He's the type of guy that you kind of want in that locker room. So long term, I want to see Ameer Abdullah in the silver and black, because he is that valuable, both on and off the football field. He does a lot of things in the receiving game. He had 4 targets, had 4 receptions in the last outing against the Indianapolis Colts, and also did a very, very good job, as we all know, in the kicking game, pinning the Colts inside their own 5-yard line. All right, so he does a lot of different things. And so Coach McDaniels talked about it today and how valuable Ameer Abdullah is, and he liked him coming out of Nebraska. He said, this guy gets it. basically echoing what I just had told you about being durable, smart, physical, tough, and all the skill sets that you want in a Raider way player. And that's what you see with Amir Abdullah. I really like Amir Abdullah. Hope he is here long term, because at the end of the day, he's a player that you're going to want on your 53-man roster, and he makes any 53-man roster that much greater, because he can do not only one thing in one phase of the game, he can play in two. So he can play in the run game, and he can also play in the passing game as well as the kicking game. So you add all that up, and you have a very valuable player who can provided solid depth. All right. But he was held out of practice today with an illness. All right, Davante Adams was limited today. He had a ab injury. Like I said, I spoke to Davante today. He seemed okay, and we had the opportunity to talk to him. And I asked him about the buy-in. We're going to go ahead and talk about that buy-in shortly after I release this injury report. Brandon Bolden was held out for personal reasons. I don't know what that personal reason is, but he's been held out for personal reasons. It says NIR, personal, did not participate. Derek Carr has a back injury, but he was a full participant. Jermaine Illuminor, the guard tackle, he had an elbow injury. That's no surprise there, but he was a full participant. Luke Masterson, the undrafted rookie free agent who played in that Tampa cover 2 every time he's in there, he had a rib injury. He was limited. If you guys remember, in the last game against the Colts, there was some kind of friendly fire there where he got hit, and then obviously play had to stop because he was the injured player on the football field, and obviously it wasn't a rib injury, so he's dealing with that. We have left tackle Colton Miller. He has a shoulder ab injury. He was limited. Denzel Perryman, if you guys follow me here on the DOB on YouTube, I went ahead and posted some exclusive footage for you guys before the Colts game of him getting warmed up, getting looked at as he kind of progresses and getting that muscle memory back and getting that gain speed back. And again, when you're dealing with a guy who has a hip and rib injury, and then you want to see how he flows, especially down in the trenches, it's not as easy as it looks. So it's really good to see Denzel Perryman on the football field. Still getting reacclimated there, obviously, but they're really being cautious with a guy like Denzel Perryman because, again, you don't want to re-injure anything or make anything worse. And then now he's out for the year. So Denzel Perryman has a hip and rib injury. He was limited. That is a positive sign, because if he did not participate, I would kind of be, not good. But we all remember on last week's injury report, heading into the Colts game, he was listed as questionable officially because he was a limited participant on the Thursday and Friday injury report. So it's good for the third practice in a row he's listed as a limited participant, which is a good sign. You see, consistency is key in the NFL. There you have it. Then next you have Sam Webb. Spoke with him today in the locker room, told me he had a great game, and he really did. In my grading system, he graded at all-pro level. He gave up a couple first downs, but other than that, he was really sound in coverage and really did a nice job pattern matching downfield, came up with a PBU, and also came up with a forced fumble. And what I saw from Sam Webb is a guy who you can work with for the foreseeable future, another undrafted rookie free agent, and I really like what he brings to the table. So Sam Webb, good job by you and earning the sample size of snaps that you pulled from, and you did a very, very good job. I'm sure Coach McDaniels is very pleased with your play against the Colts. All right. But you had a knee injury. You were limited. So Sam Webb was out not out. He was limited with a knee injury. Last but not least, Rock Yassin, just like Brandon Bolden, had a personal designation, NIR, and he did not participate. So I don't know why they were not participating, but it's personal. So take that for what it's worth. But that's the injury report to wrap up today. Tomorrow is a little bit more. I like to think tomorrow is today's more like the walkthrough. On Wednesday, you kind of go through the walkthrough. Tomorrow is more like the scouting. So that's where you're going to see guys in different color uniforms and just kind of going through, okay, you're going to be Pat Surtain, number 2. So you're going to be wearing a blue jersey or a red jersey, whatever color jersey you wear. Oh, you're going to be Justin Simmons. Oh, you're going to be DJ Jones. Okay. Oh, no, you're going to be K'Wan Williams. Okay. I don't know. I'm just naming players. All right. Or you're going to be Jerry Jeudy. You're going to be Cortland Sutton. Whatever the case may be, that'll be happen tomorrow with the scout team, and they're going to formulate all that as they put everything together. All right, that's Thursday's practice. Friday's practice is just basically, okay, we know what we need to do. Let's go. Let's do it. It's called Fast Friday for a reason. All right, you're off and running. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so that was the injury report. hopefully I broke it down to you guys, and because that's pretty much it. And we're going to talk about what Coach McDaniels said today. Now, every Wednesday we get Coach McDaniels. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we get Coach McDaniels up on the podium inside where we work, inside Raiders headquarters, right, at Intermountain Healthcare Performance Center. Say that 5 times fast. But we did talk to Coach McDaniels today. He did talk about Amir Abdullah. Like I said, liked what he liked to come out of Nebraska and so forth. But then he also talked about some different things in terms of going back to Denver, having not been a head coach, and now you're going back to Denver because you were a head coach. And he's like, yeah, well, again, he wasn't really giving anything. But what is interesting is we talked also about the team captains. You talked about the leaders on the team. What is the pulse and sense around the locker room? And he says, you know what? They're doing everything they need to do, basically, like everything, everybody's on the same page. It's just basically, if you're kind of reading between the lines, it's kind of like, well, there's some people who aren't on the same page. And I'm going to talk about this because that's a very, very pressing issue, and it's annoying. It's very annoying. And I don't care who I offend. I don't care. It's annoying when you're not buying into the program and everyone else is buying it. It's like you got to go rogue. You kind of want to do your own thing, your own way. It doesn't always work that way, bro. Look, the team is 2-7. What you're doing is not working. So you might as well try something different. However, again, this is where it gets fun for me because I can tell it how I see it. And I'm telling you right now, not everyone's buying in. Not everyone is buying in, and they should. But getting back to Coach McDaniels, I thought he did a really good job in answering the questions that were asked. He wasn't really going to give us anything anyways. But it is good to see from a head coach what his perspective is. And I know I get a lot of comments here on YouTube and Twitter and all these other social media outlets saying, oh, fire Coach McDaniels. And I said, no, Empire wasn't built overnight. Remember? Instant gratification was long-term gain. Talked about this. And then owner, Mr. Davis, echoed the same thing yesterday. So you heard it here first in the DOB 2 months ago when the team was doing bad and they were 1-4. Nothing new here in the DOB. But here we are today. All right, here we are today. So let's go ahead and talk about not only Coach McDaniels. We just wrapped that up. He didn't give up too much information anyways, but I will say this. Today, something very funny happened in the locker room. It's not the first time this has happened, by the way. So anytime I wear backstory, if you guys are new to following me, give it a thumbs up. There's 37 now watching. Went from, what was it, 15? Went from 15 to 37 people now that I can see on my end. We had over like 1,300 people watching it yesterday, and I only saw like 100. But anyways, 37 people watching it right now. Hit the smash like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't, and it would do me a solid. But no, true story happened today. Right, so I'm in the Raiders locker room, right, and I had my Alabama beanie on because Roll Tide Roll. I'm an Alabama Roll Tide Roll fan, right? Y'all know how we roll. And so I'm walking around the locker room, getting my player interviews and talking to players, getting a sense of the dynamic of the locker room, because that's what I do. That's what you guys want me to do, right? You guys want me to get that information. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get some information, get some feedback, get some quotes so I can write these stories or hop on the YouTube live stream and talk about it on my YouTube channel, on other social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. Gosh, I'm on so many social media platforms. I can't keep up. TikTok, Twitch. I don't know. Oh, I'm also on Discord. I forgot. I was on Discord too. Yeah, Discord. I'm pretty sure I'm on other stuff too. I just can't remember. But anyways, back on topic. What happened today was I was in the locker room and I'm wearing my Alabama hat, beanie, and I'm walking by Matthew Butler. If you guys remember, rookie Matthew Butler played for Tennessee. And so 2 weeks ago, he said, hey, I'm going to get you a Tennessee hat or a Tennessee beanie or Tennessee swag. And he says, if I get you something that's Tennessee, would you wear it? And I look at him, I was like, you know what? I like you, Matthew Butler, so I'd wear it for you. So if you get me something Tennessee, I will wear it. All right. So 2 weeks go by, and my boy Case Kiefer, who I sit with from Las Vegas Sun, obviously covers the Raiders too as a beat writer, just like myself. And he knows the backstory on that because he's like, oh, okay, you better hold your word to it. So here we are 2 weeks later today. I'm in the locker room, right? And so Matthew says, "Hey, come here." I said, "Oh, what's going on, Matthew? How you doing, man?" Because I always talk to Matthew pretty much every day, anyways, when I see him. And he said, "I have something for you." I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" And then he goes, "I do." He said, "I got you a Tennessee beanie." And so I was like, "Okay." I was like, "What I'm gonna do for you is I ain't gonna wear it right now because we're inside the locker room right now, and that's just suicide." So that's I'll do it on my live stream. Okay, that's cool. So I'm doing it for you, Matthew Butler, wearing your Tennessee swag that you gave me. Thank you. It actually feels kind of nice, though, to be honest with you. But I'm a Matthew Butler supporter. so I'm wearing this for you, Matt. Hopefully you like it. And Matthew's a good guy. All right, Matthew Butler is a good guy. Like him as a person, like him as a player, liked him coming out of college, like him coming out of the SEC. Look, Matthew Butler is a guy to me that really does a lot of different things, right? And I talked to him about it today. I said, "Man, you're very smart. Like when you answer my questions, it's just like it's on a different level." And he's like, "Oh, he's like, I kind of always been that way." He's like, "Well, what do you mean?" So his dad's side comes from a military background dating back to his grandfather who fought in the Vietnam or the Korean War and so forth. And so his mom's side, there's nurses and teachers on that side. So if you bridge the two together, you get Matthew Butler's instinctual, smarts, intelligence, high IQ. And I was like, "Oh, it makes sense." I said, "So growing up, Matt, were you like one of those guys that like your parents were always on you from studies and was it studies first or was it football first or what? How did you kind of decipher between the two growing up?" He's like, "You know what? It was the same." He's like, "Education and obviously sports we're on the same level, but obviously education is always going to be, right there." So two and two together, education for Matthew Butler was a high priority in the Butler household. And so I thought that was very interesting. You get to know these players on a personal level like that. You can kind of really gain some insight into their lives. And I think that's cool. Like, I think that's cool sharing that information because we otherwise wouldn't have that if you weren't here in the DOB. It's really cool to hear these types of stories because, everybody comes from all different walks of life. Right. And so when I see a guy like Matthew Butler and I'm like, "Man, this guy is really, really bright." But what makes him bright? I mean, some people are just naturally smart. I get it. But the way he answers his questions, and I told him this, told him this today. I was like, the way you methodically think about the answers, I was like, "Dude, you must have been doing well in those combine interviews. You must be doing well in the pre-draft process, bro." Because GM Dave Ziegler drafted him. And GM Dave Ziegler, again, top 5 GM in my estimation. So I like him a lot. And thank you so much, Matthew Butler, for supporting the BEASTwriter family here in the DOB with this Tennessee Volunteer hat. Now, there's probably going to be memes of me later, and it's all good, but they don't know the backstory to it. So I'm supporting my guy, Matthew Butler. And I have friends on different college teams outside of Alabama. I mean, one of my best friends coached at LSU, for crying out loud. So I have LSU stuff. So I'm just a fan of people. All right. I'm also a fan of Alabama, obviously. So if they played each other, roll tide roll all the way. But I'm a fan of people. I like people a lot. I think the NFL is a people business as much as it is a risk reward business. So again, if you're good with people and you have interpersonal skills and can kind of relate to people on that personal level and get to know the person, not just like the athlete. I think that's what's going to separate. I think that's what kind of separates. How should I say this? Like a different, not twist. That's the wrong one, but a different side that you otherwise normally wouldn't get. So I thought that was really cool by Matthew Butler. But no, getting back to it, let's go ahead. And I know I look funny with this Tennessee hat, but it is comfortable. I'll tell you that. Matthew, you did a good job. And you got the pom-pom, bro. So you know me. See, I'm all about the pom-pom. So you see me out and about, I always have a pom-pom. Always. Always, always, always. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about I know I'm going to get so much crap from my Bama people. I have Bama friends. And Kobe Dean, who plays for Georgia, he's not going to like it. That's my boy. And if you're watching Jacoby, hey man, you gotta know the backstory. All right, so let's just go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about Davante Adams' comments. All right, Davante Adams, and I caught up with Davante Adams today about the buy-in, and he basically shed some light on the buy-in. I want you guys to understand what the buy-in is, right? So we talked about this throughout training camp. If you followed me during training camp back on June 22nd is when I first started, and then we rolled into the season. So we talk about the buy-in. Like, what does that entail? What is the buy-in, right? So what does that mean? Like, do you buy into what the coaches are telling you? Do you buy into the techniques that they're preaching? Do you buy into the nutrition program that they set aside from you? Do you buy in waking up at 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. in the morning every single day to do what others won't in order to be the best that you can be at your position? The buy-in to do what is necessary for the team to be better. Are you buying in, or are you simply doing things your own way because you think your own way is the best way? Look, what that comes down to is being uncoachable. That means you're uncoachable. That means you're selfish. And that means you're a me person. You're a diva. I'm calling it out. You're a diva. If you're not buying in, you're a diva. Because what you're telling the team is, I know better than the team. And you know the cliche, there's no I in team. It is a team sport. Look, if you played tennis, if you played golf, if you bowled, right? Okay, cool story. Do whatever the hell you want. But this is the ultimate team game. All players, all coaches, all management needs to buy in to the movement that the Raider way is trying to establish under GM Dave Ziegler and head coach Josh McDaniels. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And if you're not buying in, get the hell out. Go. Swipe left. Come on now. We don't need you. Because let's be honest, if you're not doing things the Raider way and just doing things your own way, what kind of message does that send to the other players inside that locker room? It's not a good message. No. Now, it's one thing if you're a coach and you're not buying in because the coach just flat out does not know what he's doing. But that's not what's happening. Coach McDaniels knows what he's doing. GM Dave Ziegler knows what he's doing. It's the players who think they know more than the coach, know more than management who's been in the business for 25, 30 plus years. Those guys are the ones out of the problem. And let me tell you something. Under this regime, you must wake up early. The early bird catches the worm. We all heard that. It's true. The more you get done early in the day, you have the rest of the day to yourself. Look, for instance, I did fasted cardio this morning. You think I would do fasted cardio at, here we are sitting at 8:30 p.m. on an empty stomach throughout the whole day? No. Good thing you got it in, because now your metabolism is sped up. You can eat some of the foods that you want to indulge in, and you'll still be burning fat at the same time. One, because you're glycogen depleted, so you need to repair that glycogen storage form of carbohydrate. All right, so we can talk football, we can talk fitness, but it all plays a role in buying into what Coach McDaniels is saying, buying into what GM Dave Ziegler is trying to establish, buying into what Jawan Daniels is trying to do, buying into what Andy Dengler is trying to do, buying into what Lenny McGill is trying to do. You guys want to know who I'm name dropping? These are scouts. All right, so I'm just saying everybody has to buy in. And if you're not buying in, then get the F out. Swipe left. See ya. I don't care how good you are. Because you're going to be a toxic player. You're going to be you're not going to be an asset. You're going to, in then turn, be a liability. And I don't want any liabilities on my football team. So get in or get out. Get in or get out. That's all I got to say about that. And look, I talked to Davante. He all saw the YouTube video that I posted shortly up. I think it was like, I don't know, early on, like 5 hours ago. Is it 5 hours? Around 3 o'clock, right? Posted that video up. And it's getting a lot of good feedback. If you haven't watched that video yet, you guys can do so right after this live stream ends, or you can do it right now. It doesn't matter, and flip back to the live stream. But I talked about it. Davante. Hey, Davante, you're a team captain. How hard is it to motivate some of these players to buy in? Because let's be honest, some of these players aren't buying in. So I wanted to ask the question. Hey, it's a fair question. You're a team captain. It's not your fault that they're not buying in, because you can't force feed someone to do something that they don't want to do. They're grown men, which Davante Adams made a great point. And that's why I asked the question, because I know they're grown men. These guys are professionals, so they're going to do what they want to do anyways. Whether it's Davante Adams, Derek Carr, or someone else telling them what to do, they're going to want to do things their own way anyways, because they're a professional. And they're so, again, the humanistic approach to all this is people are reluctant to change. And maybe I know this because I'm a business management major and I learned this at a very young age going to school at San Diego State University. But being a management major, that's the number one thing they tell you is people are reluctant to change. People don't want to change. And people don't feel the need to change because what are you doing when you do that? Whenever change occurs, just think about your own lives. What happens when change occurs? Something that's different or outside the box, it's going to have some type of feels, some type of vibes. And usually it's kind of uneasy vibes because it's different. When you're accustomed to learning to doing something a certain way, you're set in your ways. That's why as you get older, you hear your parents or you hear, your uncles or aunts, your cousins, and they're like in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, like, oh, nah, just let her be. That's just how they are. Sound familiar, right? Because people are reluctant to change. There's a humanistic approach to it. It's all about, I always talk about learning and growing, right? Even at my age, I'm old, all right? I'm almost 40, believe it or not. True story. Almost 40 years old, believe it or not. At my age, I like change. I trained my head to think that change can be for the better. Now, if it's not good, then you can always revert to what's comfortable. But if you don't go outside the box or if you don't try something new, how do you know if it's good for you or not? You don't. It's like someone who says, oh, I don't like that food. Have you tried it yet? No, but I don't like it. It looks disgusting. Well, how do you know? I don't know. I just don't like it. You don't know. What you don't know, you don't know. So why don't you do something different? If it's not working, do something different. I don't know. I think that just blows my mind how people think a certain way and they're like, nah, man, my way's better. It's like, nah, dude, your way sucks. When I played, there was always players who thought they knew better than the coach. There was always players that were uncoachable. I hate to use that word, uncoachable, but there are people who are uncoachable. In fact, there are people who are in the NFL who are uncoachable, but they're very good. So you kind of deal with that. There are also players who think they're good, but they're really not good, who are uncoachable. I'm just keeping it 100. And it doesn't matter. It's at the professional level, college level, high school level, whatever the case may be. If you all played at any one of those levels, you all know what I'm talking about. It's not like in Pee Wee football where it's like, okay, you run that way. No, it's like when you get to a certain level, players who are going to be like, or teammates who are like, man, I'm not going to do that. I don't need to do that. Now, I don't care what you do if you're an all-pro player, but if you ain't an all-pro player and not even a Pro Bowl talent, your butt better be in there on a Tuesday working out. You better be hitting the gym like Beast. I work out 7 days a week. I don't have to. My coach even gives me an off day. But you know what I do on my off day? I'm in the weights. I'm hitting it. True story. And then people wonder how I look like the way I do. I put in that work. I do what others are not willing to do. That's why. With that comes sacrifice. If you're not willing to sacrifice, then get out. Get out of here, Las Vegas. We don't need you. Team don't need you. So I think it's really good hearing Davante Adams speak because from a team captain standpoint and perspective, and Derek Carr as well, it's good to hear from those guys because those guys are the ones that have really, really strong voices inside that locker room. All right. So I'm just keeping 100, and that's what I see. Daniel Kidd says, I'm all about SC, as in Trojans. Well, to be honest with you, my sister went to USC. I have a lot of friends who went to USC and played for USC. So I do have, if you go back on my Twitter or YouTube, You'll see me in USC stuff. I get it free. My sister buys me stuff. In fact, when I went to Hawaii back, where was I? I went to where the Lakers. I stayed in Kahala. Kahala, okay, if you guys don't know, maybe I don't know if I should tell you a secret. Anyways, whatever. Kahala is like the bougie place of Oahu, okay? If you guys know what Kahala is. Anyways, I stayed there with my auntie and who has a house up there. But over the backside, there's a Hilton. And that's where the Lakers stay. And so there's a picture of me in my USC bag, USC sleeveless, UFC shorts, USC sandals. And people thought I was a USC player. I was like, nah, I just got all this free crap. I'm wearing it because I don't want to get my other stuff dirty. I want to get my Roll Tide Roll stuff dirty. True story. But yeah, that's what we have. So hooked on bass, and cats. I told you what's going on. Hopefully you liked it. When is the YouTube giveaway of the Raider Nation Rally Towel? That will be giving away on Friday. So you guys have 2 days to go ahead and get that going. I'm thinking of entering. If you guys haven't noticed, or if you guys have receiving notifications late at night, I have a guy who's going through all the comments, all the super chats, and liking all the comments. And then also on top of that, going to be engaging with you guys through that. So you guys actually know that we're tallying up everything. So every comment we get counts. Every super chat we get counts. Every super sticker we get counts. All the engagement we get counts. All the likes on the video, that counts. And then we formulate that. And then we kind of formulate. We put it in a drawing here. I have this like little, it's like pick a random at winner and it just boom goes. So the more you engage, the higher your chances. So engage. Chris Gaines says, dope story, Beast. I like what you do. You get the inside access, but you're not making up BS. Just state what you see and hear. Yeah, man. Thank you so much, man. And like I said, it's all about good vibes only. And what I mean by that is obviously if there's something I need to report that's bad vibes, I'm going to report that, but I'm not going to go out and say, oh man, like this has to happen or like this guy should be. Well, let's face it. If the coach needs to be fired, he need to be fired. Or if a GM needs to be fired, he needs to be fired. Or if there's a player that needs to get cut, he needs to get cut. And there's better players. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, I'll put that out there. But there's also a respectful way of doing things. So right now, I don't see any of that anyways. I really like GM Dave Ziegler. I'm already on record saying that. I love GM Dave Ziegler. I love Coach McDaniels. And someone tweeted at me and said, oh, since you like Coach McDaniels and GM Dave Ziegler, we should fire you along with them. And I said, cool, put me on that ship. Because once they start winning again, you're going to want to hop on that bandwagon. And sorry, I'm just going to throw that mean stiff. I'm like, pa. This is a great time to be a Raider fan, by the way. And here's the reason why. The blessing in disguise is, yeah, they're 2-7. Yeah, it sucks. But at the end of the day, once they start winning, because they will, remembering the losing times will make the winning that much sweeter because you've been with them through the thick and thin. Fans who fall off the bandwagon, go ahead, go. Be a fair weather fan. The Raider Nation don't need you anyways. That's why I always say this is the perfect time, if you're not a Raider Nation fan, to become a fan. Because once they start winning, just look at the Warriors. True story. I have so many friends on my timeline right now and who are quote unquote Warriors fans. And I'm not calling, this is on Facebook right now. It's on Facebook Live. But you guys know who you are. I called you guys out before. Look, they're doing bad and you guys go ghost. Oh, I'm not a Raider fan. I'm not a Warrior fan. I'm a Laker fan. Since when? Since they got LeBron? Since they won their championship? Since they got Anthony Davis? Like, when? It definitely wasn't the Julius Randle days, I'll tell you that. It definitely wasn't the Nick Van Exel days, I can tell you that. It wasn't with the Anthony Peeler days, I can tell you that. So when? Oh, but when Chef Curry, Clay's coming back, and when they're doing well, everything's all, bro, quit playing. And then they get upset when I call them out. It's like, dude, there's pictures of you wearing two different teams. At least I have a backstory to mine, and I keep it 100. They literally just say, I'm not a fan of this team. I'm a fan of that team. I'm not a fan of that team. I'm a fan of it. It's like, That's a fair weather fan. Oots, Utah Oots all day. Yeah, you know what? My guy Wesley Brooks used to coach the Utah women's basketball team, and I have Utah basketball clothes too. True story. Wesley Brooks. Then he went on to Michigan. So I have all college team stuff. I swear. I got San Diego State because I went to San Diego State. Man. All right. Herman Schmidt says lots to think, but I'm with you. Got love for some teams of different reasons. Yeah, it's okay to like different teams for different reasons, but I'm not saying like the whole spectrum of teams. Like, oh my gosh, I like all 32 NFL teams like that. Man, no, that just means you love fantasy football. And who doesn't love everyone loves fantasy football these days. I like fantasy football. Non PPR though. I don't like PPR. Half point PPR. No. Just give me standard. Just keep it simple. I'm very basic. I'm basic. Oh, yeah. All right. Daniel Kim says, I also respect that he kept this news about the locker on the DL until it actually became known. Yeah, I mean that's the whole point of it is like there's a lot of stuff that you hear and see, but you just don't report. Like yesterday, I went on a live stream and I could have tweeted something out, but I told you guys I was going to rest on it and let it marinate because at the end of the day, I'm not going to put something out there that's unnecessary in my opinion. It's unnecessary. I waited and I talked about it yesterday on the live stream. I said, there is some finger pointing going on. Right. Obviously, I'm not going to name those players out of respect for those players, confidentiality purposes, always when it comes to the dark side of BEASTwriter, but never release my sources ever. But I will say this. I will say there is some finger pointing going on inside that locker room, but, it's been reported already. You know what I mean? So it's not for me like, oh, I got to be the first to report this. Like, nah, man, like I'm chill. I'm chilling right now. I'll let someone else report it first, and they do a good job at that. All right. Jeff KC says Chiefs. Oh, I like look at that bow and arrow. Look at that. Ryan Rangel says salute Beast. Caught you on the show with my guy Sanji and been subscribed ever since. Much respect. Love the point of view you bring to the nation. Glad I finally caught up to the live show. Some love. Thank you so much, man, and I appreciate it. You joining here in the dark side of BEASTwriter. And again, a lot of you guys did come from Sanjit's channel. I love Sanjit, very good YouTube content creator, does a really good job with his game film breakdowns. If you don't follow my guy Sanjit, follow him, Sanjit Singh, the football scout. So he's also on there and also has his outlet called the Las Vegas Chronicle, LVC. So does a really good job pumping that up. It reminds me of my times when I started up NinerFans.com from the ground up, and it takes a lot of work, man. It really, really does. So I have a lot of admiration for people who do it that way. Because obviously if you're not working for a big publication or a big media company that's out there and you need to start your own, it's probably one of the toughest, I'm 39 years old. Looking back and even here with the dark side of BEASTwriter, luckily enough, I kind of have the blueprint of how I run things, but building that up initially I can't think outside of my insurance agency. There wasn't too. It was a very, very difficult task, but one that I was very, very excited about because I like the challenge. I like the challenge of doing something that maybe most people would say you can't do it. And when they tell me I can't do it, I'm going to show you 1,000 ways why I can. And once I can, and once I do it, you don't got to say anything because you let your game do the talking. And that's how I like to do business. So, yeah, it's not easy starting. And that's why I have so much respect for these content creators. And today's society where social media is such a beast, is like everyone can be a name. You don't have to do things the traditional way. No longer do you have to do it that way. If you have the passion, if you have the drive, if you have the dedication, if you have the knowledge and the expertise to really know what you're talking about, whatever field it is, whether it's talking about football, baseball, basketball, or not even career wise, like if you wanted to start like a tech blog or something like that and talk about, all these social media companies and, whatever the case may be, and you have the knowledge to do so, I would definitely recommend you do that because again, it goes back to the locker room dynamic, right? Like people are reluctant to change. So people may not do a thing a certain way because they've been told that their way is the best way throughout their entire lives. Well, news break. That's not always the case. And so, in order for you to break that comfort zone, you're going to have to do something different. And so, that's why I think it's good for you. If you have a passion that you really want to pursue, I say go ahead and do it. Because what do you have to lose? The biggest risk in life is not taking one. So, go ahead and take that risk because what do you have to lose? Nothing. At the end of the day, you're just starting at ground zero, anyways. And along the way, you're going to have haters. You're going to have people saying you can't do it. I love it when people tell me I can't do it. Like I said, I love that. I'm weird like that though. When someone tells me I can't do something, everyone knows. Okay, tell me. Like I actually welcome it. Like tell me I can't do something. Tell me, do it, do it. Love it. I love it. I thrive off that. That just adds fuel to the fire. He says you're right, Beast. Change can always be good, and to be honest, it's inevitable. Yeah, change is good. Change is always good. Somewhat says Raiders Beast. What's your personal opinion on if we will keep DC next year? I don't know if you said this before. I just pulled up. All good, man. To answer your question on whether or not DC will be brought back, that's a very, very good question. I actually answered that on 2 live streams ago, but I'll go ahead and since you're here, I'll go ahead and answer that. And again, if there's now 42 of you guys watching it, if you like the live stream that I'm and the content that I'm posting here, just give it a thumbs up. And that way it'll be a recommended video for others out there. Also, if you'd like to donate, you guys can do so here in the Dark Side of BEASTwriter. That's what DOB stands for, the Dark Side of BEASTwriter. You can support through a super chat or a super sticker here on YouTube. Also, like I said, just give it a thumbs up. That will help me a lot, and that's free. So if you do one of those 2 things, that would be greatly appreciated, and it'll be a recommended video for other Raider Nation out there so we can kind of grow the DOB family. And that's what I call this. I call this family, right? When you subscribe to the channel, you're part of the family. And I never say, oh, I have this many followers. Like, oh, man. No, I call you guys either supporters or family. And that's how I like to do things because basically that's what you are. You guys support what I do. I wouldn't be in the position I am without you guys. So, oh, no, you're a follower or you're a fan. No, man, you're a supporter and you're part of the DOB family, which is why I launched my DOB swag, which is why I run giveaways for all of you guys because I love you guys and you guys are awesome. All right. So getting back to your question on the Derek Carr situation. All right. Well, let's just, if they were to trade or release Derek Carr, which I think can be a possibility, I don't think, if you're asking me, I don't think he returns next year. And simply due to the fact that there's $11.8 million in cap savings that you can get from releasing him as a pre-June 1 designation. Now, if it's a post-June 1 designation next year, you can be saving $17.5 million in cap savings. And GM Dave Ziegler can kind of roll that cash flow how he sees fit. On the flip side of that, there's a lot of different things where you can actually incur a cap hit, right? So the first one was through trade. So if you trade Derek Carr pre-June 1, it's $11.8 million. If you trade him post-June 1, which is after the draft, that'd be 17.5. Now, if you release him, Derek Carr, pre-June 1, there's only a $5.5 million cap hit. All right, so now you're taking a cap hit. You're not getting a cap savings. You're actually taking a hit on that number. If you release Derek Carr post June 1, because remember, we do a lot of these June 1 designations, post June 1 designations, and you'll only be saving $100,000. So if they were to go that route, and GM Dave Ziegler thought that was the best way for his team to see what he has moving forward, and would rather draft a quarterback like Roll Tide Roll, Bryce Young, or Ohio State quarterback like CJ Stroud, then they would go in that direction. You would obviously want to trade Derek Carr, get something in return, and also get some cap savings where you can kind of roll that money, maybe addressing the offensive line, maybe along the defensive line, or even at the outside linebacker position, or whatever front that they see fit under the new scheme that they're going to be bringing in next year, if there is a new scheme next year. So a lot of different parameters need to take place. But ultimately, if you're asking me, should Derek Carr be retained right now, I'm going to reserve comment on that. But if you're asking me if he's going to be retained, I would say no. I don't think they're going to keep him. I think they're going to let him walk or trade him, one of the two. But I like Derek Carr. But he does make some kind of plays that kind of question, like throwing in triple coverage against the Colts. I mean, how many times? This is my first year covering Derek Carr, right? Specifically, obviously, I run grades on all 32 teams, and obviously, I've been covering Derek Carr over the past 4 or 5 years. But on a consistent day-to-day basis, I just don't see the consistency in his game yet. Now, he can be a really good quarterback. And so I think if you're GM Dave Ziegler, you're looking at, okay, let's give Derek Carr one more chance under this system because it is a new system. So you got to look at it as a learning process, right? Maybe year one was a learning process, just like a rookie comes in learning the NFL game. Maybe this is a learning process for him because he's learning a new system with Davante Adams. You got to remember, Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller have been out majority of the year. So you don't even have your healthy horses on the line. Speaking of line, you don't even have an offensive line. So why don't you give Derek Carr a full set of weapons to work with in order to really assess whether or not to keep him or not keep him? Unfortunately, you don't have that luxury because obviously the trade deadline's over and there's no one who's going to be released and you can really claim off the free agent wire, the waiver wire, because everybody's picked up. Like you're definitely picking up players who otherwise would be just good depth players. So yeah, that's where I see that going. All right, so get to some more questions. Daniel Kim, thank you so much for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. It says, Dark Side of BEASTwriter, interior designer, 3 a.m. coffee fun. There you go, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, I do need an interior designer. And my 3 a.m. coffee fund is right here. I love it. I'm telling you, man, I have bags on my eyes because I was up 3 a.m. Let me run the grades. You guys want the grades? Let me know if you guys want the grades of the Colts game because I did run the grades on the Colts game. And I have all those grades for you. So let me just run that for you. You know what? I have it here. I might as well just run it for you guys. So you guys like my grading system. If you guys don't know, I have my own grading system. I don't rely on PFF. Not saying I don't like I don't like PFF. It's so mean of me saying, oh, BEASTwriter doesn't like PFF. So what? Like, I don't like PFF. I also don't like when people say, oh, he was blah, 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 based on being on the nearest defender. He gave up a quarterback passer rating that's a lazy way of analyzing, man. Like, what if that wasn't even his assignment? He was just happened to be in that spot. Stuff like that irritates me. Anyways, all right. Bilal Nichols played really well in run fit integrity, graded out as 7.0 versus the Colts. What I saw in his game outside of being called and flagged for offside penalty for 4 yards of hidden yardage, he was very sound in his run and fit integrity, did a very sound job there. So he graded at 7 out of 10. Andrew Billings graded at a 9.5 out of 10. Again, both these players on the interior defensive line do not get a grade for the pass rush because they're not in pass rush situations more times than not. Chandler Jones getting it. No, I'm joking. Not joking, really. But no, Andrew Billings and run fit integrity alone graded at a 9.5. Did a really good job there and had 3.5 tackle wins in my grading system. Had 0 missed run fits in the run game and did a really good job there against the Indianapolis Colts. And again, that Colts offensive line is not what it normally was as in years past. Maybe because they don't have an offensive tackle. Maybe because they need someone on the interior other than Quentin Nelson and Ryan Kelly. Whatever the case may be. Anyways, Max Crosby graded at a 9 out of 10. I mean, this guy was all over the place. Max Crosby was a beast. And people would say, oh, Max Crosby is not earning his paycheck. Please spare me. Run the grades, grade every single snap, and then get back to me. The burden of proof falls on you. I already have the grades. I'm looking at it. Every single snap. So, Max Crosby, graded at 9 out of 10. Was wrecking havoc all over the field, resetting the line of scrimmage, slipping blocks, getting and making plays at or near behind the line of scrimmage in the run game. He also picked up a sack for minus 14 yards of hidden yardage. The guy was just all over the football field. And again, for anyone who says that Max Crosby is not playing at a first-team all-pro level, come see me. Come at me. Come at me, bro. Come at me. All right? Now let's go on and move on. Let's talk about some undrafted rookie free agents. We're going to talk about Chandler Jones in a little bit, but he's graded out of 5.75. He's an average player at best. did a really good job in run fit integrity. Boo woo, like good story, but you're not paid $17.5 million, or I should say $17 million on your 3-year, $51 million contract to be a run fit integrity guy. We already have Andrew Billings. We already have Bilal Nichols. Granted, they play different techniques, but you guys get what I'm saying. We need you to rush the passer, get to the quarterback. And right now, in my grading system against the Colts, you only had one quarterback pressure resulting in the loss of down. So you're average. And again, I didn't like the move when they signed him either. He was an average guy dating back to when I started grading him from the Arizona Cardinals back in 2019, 2020, 2021, and now 2022. So there's a good sample size to pull from. And in fact, the funny thing about this is he wasn't a very good run fit guy throughout those years, but he was a really good pass rusher, which saved his grade. And the opposite is attracting right now. So it's funny as he gets later on in his career how the tides have turned literally 180 in my grading system. Anyways, Luke Masterson, undrafted rookie free agent, did a really good job. Now, if you guys remember, he was taken out early in the fourth quarter in place of Darian Butler, and I have grades on both those guys. If you guys remember, Masterson was taken out at the 12:39 mark in the fourth quarter, and in the third quarter. Darian Butler was placed inside there. So as I'm looking at my notes, he was inserted. Also, you saw a lot of different linebacker duos in there. You also saw a guy by the name of Malcolm Coots. You guys know, coming out of Buffalo. He was a holdover from the Mayock regime. He kicked off the fourth quarter, and he was inserted into that lineup along with Tayshaun Bauer. So some of these guys that weren't necessarily getting work early on. Some of these guys were healthy scratches, like a Tayshaun Bauer. They're starting to get their feet wet. And again, I think you can look for this type of trend moving forward. Remember, Kyle Pecco was activated, and Neil Farrell and Matthew Butler were both deactivated. So you can kind of see the coaching staff kind of seeing what they have from a GM perspective, because again, how do you know what you need going into the offseason if you don't know what you have already? So again, that's what you see going on here. That's why you have me here. I'm seeing the notes here, and Kyle Pecco being elevated from the practice squad to the active roster. I thought he should have been starting since day one anyways. And ultimately, he wasn't. He was released, then brought back on the practice squad, not elevated to the active roster. So a lot of good things I see from that defensive front seven. But at the end of the day, people are talking, oh, man, like their missed tackles. Nah, man. In my grading system, there was only 4 missed tackles in run fit integrity. All right. And when you talk about the pass coverage department, let me just pull that grades up for you. Crazy. I really run the grades. People are like, oh, yeah, you run the grades. I do. There's only 4 missed tackles versus the pass. That was by Duron Harmon. The other was by Rock Yassin, Trayvon Merrick, and Anthony Averett. And I would say that the 2 of those 4 tackles, or half of those tackles, came off of that 66-yard touchdown run that we saw Jonathan Taylor make. So a lot of different things happened there. It wasn't Jonathan Taylor run. I take that back. It was what play was that? I got to go back, but it was a play resulting in a touchdown. I can tell you that because I just ran the grades earlier today, but it was at 3 a.m. But anyways, yeah, that's what I have here. I thought Sam Webb played a really strong game. I talked to him today in the locker room, told him he did a really good job, played at an all-pro level. He did give up 2 first downs in coverage, but he also came back and came up with a forced fumble. And also, we all know what he did in pass coverage. He was targeted 8 times, 6 of those going for completions for a total of 33 yards in pass coverage being targeted. So I thought Sam Webb did a really good job. Also came up with a couple PBUs that's huge, right? Even anytime you get your hand on a football, you're making plays on the football, you're going to be playing on game days. So I thought Sam Webb did a really good job. Spoke with Amik Robertson in the locker room today. Talked to him about the peanut punch. It's crazy. They practice it all the time. I would know because he was telling me, and I see it, and I see them practicing it throughout training camp. So it's not a surprise that they were doing it. And Amik Robertson came up with a forced fumble, as well as made a big play in the end zone. And I asked him, I said, hey, did you think that was a catch? Because I thought that was a catch that you forced a fumble. I was like, I thought it was a catch. I said, I know. But no, Amik Robertson did well. He was targeted 4 times, and 2 of those going for completions, and gave up a total of 39 yards in pass coverage. We have Rock Yassin, who was not a healthy scratch, but who was personal reasons was not a participant in today's practice, but he was targeted 6 times, 3 of those going for completions, giving up 16 yards. And this guy's just been a rock all year round. He should be re-signed at the end of the year. GM Dave Ziegler, look for him to do that. That'll be a high in-house priority. What I'm hearing and what I'm seeing is I think Rock Ya-Sin is going to get re-signed, so look for that to happen. All right, so now we kind of roll over into the Duron Harmon. He was targeted one time and gave up a 32-yarder there. But other than that, played a really clean game. Sidney Jones was inserted early on. He was targeted 2 times, 2 of those going for completions for total of 25 yards. And of course, we have Jayon Brown, who was inserted back in the lineup, was dealing with a hamstring injury. He went 2 for 2 and was targeted 2 times. Obviously, 2 of those going for completions, giving up only 13 yards. All right. So you look at what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing a very sound football. And it's funny, though, because you look at the score and it's like, what the heck? Where did all this come from? It's really crazy. It's really crazy how the score just kind of like, it doesn't dictate what you really see, because they're not getting any type of pass rush, and that's what's sustaining these long drives, and that's what's frustrating. Look, you get paid $17 million a year to rush the passer, and I don't care about sack numbers as I do as pressure rate, and you're just not getting the pressure rate, Chandler Jones. It's very concerning. Salvatore Bruno says, sorry, Beast, I disagree. We've been making too many excuses for Carr. Let's move on. If Carr had better D on the player health, we need winning quarterback, not excuses and more. I see your point, man, and I can't say I disagree with you. I think you have a very valid point. And I'm not saying that Derek Carr should or should not be back necessarily. I'm just giving the 2 analytical approaches on why he would be and why he wouldn't be. If it was up to me from a GM perspective, if he continues to play the way he's playing, I would say the team would have to move on and draft a guy like Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, because you need a dual threat quarterback, number 1. And 2, to me, Derek Carr's too inconsistent, especially when throwing on the proper shoulder downfield where receivers have to slow down to kind of catch to the ball. One thing that you look for, especially for me and from a scouting perspective, and I learned this from a well-respected GM, is, from the quarterback position, you want to look and take into account accuracy, but more importantly than that, does he throw on the proper shoulder? Does he throw in stride? Does he understand how to go through his progressions? Is he very, very what's the word? Is he I wouldn't say crisp, that's not the word, but does he have does he get it? So basically, does he get it from the shoulders up, right? Does he understand? Does he have that it factor that we all talk about? Does he have dual threat ability? Because in today's NFL, you need to be a dual threat. Let's face it. If a quarterback scrambles, you cannot touch him. That's a win for the offense. Like, you can't touch me, bro. Like, I'm a quarterback. Ha, 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 ha. Like, that's kind of how you feel like, right? I don't know. I think that's what quarterbacks feel like when they take off scrambling, because they know, like, ha, ha, you can't touch me. Ha, 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 ha. Like, catch me if you can, but I know you can't because Goodell protects me. Ha, ha, ha. Like, what the hell? Like, it's hilarious. I laugh because every freaking game I see a quarterback running, and these defensive backs and these linebackers just want to lay the wood, but they can't. So they pull up. And then the quarterback gets extra 2 to 3 yards in a game of inches. Those are crucial to winning and losing a football game, bro. Like, I'm just saying, like, I think if a quarterback scrambles, you're a runner and you can get knocked the F out. But you know what? That's not the NFL way today, because at the end of the day, it's like, oh man, we need to protect these quarterbacks. They make us money. They're going to hurt our fantasies if Pat Mahomes goes out. Oh no. Oh, and I liked it better when football was just football, and these penalties. I hate that. I don't know. I guess I'm a controlled violence type of a guy. Like, I like controlled violence. I like big hits. I like players not necessarily getting hurt, but I mean, if you're going across the middle, there's a chance that you may get hurt because you are going across the middle and there's a price to pay. Now, I'm not saying take the guy's head off. I'm not saying that. Obviously, I like the way the rules are dictated where you have to lead with the shoulder and all those things. Take the crown of the helmet out of it. Can't hit with a face mask or any hairline fracture at the helmet, blah, 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 blah. I know all the rules. Okay, I get it. But at the end of the day, it is football. So if a quarterback takes off running, you're fair game, bro. It's your fault you run. If you don't want to run, then slide. Just scramble out of the pocket and slide. Give yourself up. Simple as that. Then you won't get hit. Daniel Kim says, Jones cap hit is huge. If we cut him, it's a really bad. Yes, it is. It is bad. And Chandler Jones, just to break it down, If you release Chandler Jones pre-June 1, there's a $24.1 million cap hit. If you post him as a June 1 designation, if I'm not mistaken, gosh, what was that number? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. This is crazy how I remember this, if I can remember this, but it's 24.1 million before June 1. And then after June 1, as a June 1 post designation, I think it's a $14.5 million cap hit. You guys can do the research on that, but I'm pretty sure if I get that right, dude, I'm freaking crazy. Crazy good with that. Yeah. But Egalitarian says, Beast, do you think Dave Ziegler will resign Anthony Averett? He should. I love Anthony Averett. Talked to him today. Roll Tide Roll, Anthony Averett. And you guys got to remember, he's coming off an injury. And if you look at what he did against the Colts, he played a really sound game. Now, his sample size of snaps are kind of diminished a little bit, but he ultimately, I thought he played a really well-rounded game. So, yeah, he graded out an 8 out of 10. So that's pretty good for Anthony Averett, right? Any player for that matter. So Anthony Averett getting back into it, yes. The answer is yes. DJS says, aloha and happy Thanksgiving in advance. Thank you so much, everyone. And just so you know, we have 51 people watching. If you like the silver and black content that I am providing right now, do me a favor. Give the video a thumbs up. Like the channel. Like the video. And that way it will help the exposure here in the dark side of BEASTwriter, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to grow the dark side of BEASTwriter, and we really need you to hit that like button. So go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, tell all your family and friends, look, the DLB is legit, or it's not legit. It sucks. Either way, just talk about it, hype me up. And again, we will keep things hot here in the DLB for all of you, but hopefully you guys like my content. Otherwise, I don't think there'll be 51 of you guys watching it as we speak. All right. So we have we get some weird comments in here, not on just YouTube, but on Facebook as well. Some in a lot of Facebook groups and Facebook pages. Raiders only lose to the refs, not to other teams. All right, we have Steven says, when Carr ran often in Broncos game and past game press round, he said, sum up all the lines of JMD doesn't want me to run. Makes me think doesn't want a pocket passer. Had Tom Brady, drafted Mac Jones. Look, it's one of those things, again, we really don't know what we don't know. And so whether or not Derek Carr can use his legs or not use his legs, look, we saw it in that Davante Adams touchdown against the Colts, right? He scrambled a little bit and then threw the ball downfield. So whether or not he can run or not run, I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one. I haven't heard that. I know there's rumors about that, but for me to go on here on this dark side of beast, I say absolutely. Coach McDaniels told him not to run. I haven't heard that from anyone inside that building. Daniel Kim says, if Carr doesn't come, but that's not to say it's not true. If Carr doesn't come back, who do you like the most at quarterback in terms of ROI entering the draft? Give me Bryce Young. I like Bryce Young. I'm a roll tide roll guy. I like the intangibles he brings to the table outside of being a roll tide roll guy. I think he has that it factor that you look for from the quarterback. Again, what's that it factor? I don't know. I can't explain it, but he has that it factor, that winning pedigree. He has the 3 C's, the calm, cool, and being collected inside the pocket. He's very sound in making his progressions, and as he's going through his progressions, he doesn't get flustered. Anytime he's in a bad game, because you're going to be at bad games, he always stays, again, very poised, and he doesn't the stage isn't too bright for him. I think that's one of the things you look for from the quarterback position, and outside of getting it from the shoulders up, this guy has been a baller, right? This guy has been a baller for Bama. And so how can you say that Bryce Young can't be the full? Now you can talk about obviously the Kentucky quarterback, right? Will Levis and CJ Stroud as well. So you can't go wrong with CJ. I kind of like Bryce Young over CJ Stroud. Don't ask me why. Maybe because I'm a roll tide roll. I would just like to have to stay objective here. I truly believe that both CJ Stroud and Bryce Young would be solid additions for this Raiders organization. Now, again, it comes down to scheme fit, and ultimately it comes down to your flavor. Like, what flavor do you want? You want vanilla or chocolate, right? You want vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. I mean, there's so many different flavors you can go after with CJ Stroud, and obviously a guy like Bryce Young and Will Levis. So it's going to be interesting to see what direction they want to go in. But ultimately, if you were to ask me, I would say Bryce Young. I think Nick Saban's a very well coached program. There's a reason why he keeps winning. There's a reason why he keeps churning NFL talent, and there's a reason why they always win. Now here I am wearing a Tennessee beanie. Paulo Alto. Hey, what's going on, Farhan? He said, "Hey, yo, Beast. Hey, yo, Raider Nation. I like it. I like it. I like it." How are you doing today? All right. So Noah says, "Do you think?" Here's a Tom Brady question. Coming from the Bay Area, Tom Brady is from my hometown, by the way. He grew up in San Mateo, went to Sarah High School. Obviously, I went and grew up in San Jose. Do you think Tom Brady coming to the Raiders next year is a possibility? All the weapons we have on offense will be appealing, then we go full defense in the draft. I don't know, man. I think Tom Brady would rather play for the Niners, to be honest with you. I don't see him coming to the Las Vegas Raiders. Now watch him go to the Las Vegas Raiders. I think he would rather go to the 49ers if the opportunity arose. It's crazy because I can see him really making that power play move. Look, why would you not want to play for your hometown team? He loves the Niners. He resents the Niners now. But tomorrow it could be a different story. Tom Brady is Tom Brady. He's the best quarterback the game has ever seen. And there's a reason for that. So I actually would love that. I would actually love to see Tom Brady play for the red and gold. I think that would be crucial. I think that'd be awesome. I think that'd be dope. Paulto Niner says, I dig you, man. No disrespect, but I wish you covered a real team like the Niners because the Raiders will always be a dumpster fire organization no matter where they run to. You know, it's funny. It's funny, but I like covering the Raiders. I like covering the Niners too. You know, I covered the Niners for so many years. That's how I got my start here in the NFL media and being a beat writer. But I really do enjoy covering the Las Vegas Raiders. I really do. I love Las Vegas. I like the vibe here in Las Vegas. I like the players. I like the people that work there. I like the PR department. Just the organization as a whole has really welcomed me with open arms. And I think this is what's really cool. I think this is really cool because everybody is saying the Raiders are always going to be the Raiders. Even the Raider fans. Some of the Raider fans that are hopping on the live streams and stuff and the comments thereafter are saying, oh, the Raiders suck. They're always going to suck. Da, da, da. You guys got to remember, the same thing was said about the Golden State Warriors. Oh, we're not going to see a championship in my lifetime. Oh, we drafted Todd Fuller. Oh, my gosh. We got Clifford Rozier. Oh, my gosh. We have Chris Gatling. Oh, Big Vic. Oh, my gosh. Jawan Jennings. Oh, we suck. But you had to run TMC, and you had a good run there. And then all of a sudden, all these players started coming on. You're like, oh, we had Latrell Sprewell. Oh, we had Chris Webber for 1 year, and then you want to trade. But the Warriors are always going to be the Warriors. They're never going to win. How many times have you heard that? Then they get Steph Curry. Then they get Klay Thompson. Then they get Draymond Green. Then they bring on KD. And then they start winning championships. So that's why I think it's fun to be a Raider Nation fan. I'm telling you. Right now, if I'm living in Vegas or if I don't have a freaking team, I am jumping on the Vegas bandwagon right now. I'm like, you know what? You can't call me a bandwagon fan because when they were 2-7, that's when I became a fan and document it. Freaking, you know, on Facebook, you can like timeline shit as a special event, right? You can timeline certain things as a special event. Do that. Timeline it. Just like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to like a Raider Nation fan, blah, blah. Just don't fall off the bandwagon. Because they're going to start winning. I'm telling you, they're going to start winning. That's just my opinion. Now watch me be wrong. No, they're going to start winning. That's why I'm confident. Look, I don't just say stuff just to say stuff. Like I see it. Steven, how do you feel about Steven says, how do you feel about Bryce Young having a small frame, being 6 foot, 190? If he takes one too many hits, it could be bad. Same thing was said about me. I'm 5'5", 145, and people's like, "Oh man, you're too small to play the game." And I just lay people out. So I like it. I'm like a Bob Sanders. I'm like the hitman. Like, bro, I'll lay you out. I swear I'll lay you out. And I'll win the leverage game by default because I'm only 5'5". So by default, I win the leverage game. So you can't out leverage me, man. I have a lower pad level. I win every time. No, same was said all the time. This is funny. Salvador versus Beast poll. If your views like your volunteer beanie, type T. If viewers like Roll Tide beanie, type A. That's a good one. Let's do a poll. So if you like my volunteer beanie, type T for Tennessee. If you like my Roll Tide roll beanie, type A. I like it. So type T or A. Let me know what you thought. What your thoughts are. To be honest with you, this is kind of. I think the color scheme is kind of like ugly, but I'm kind of gravitating to it. I kind of like it because it matches the black. I mean, I'm just gonna keep it honest with you. It looks kind of cool, but I'm still a Roll Tide roll fan at heart. But I'm wearing this for my guy Matthew Butler, who's just joining in. Yeah. uh, All right, so we got so many things coming through here. We're let's just go here. All right. Rocker Corey says, "What's up, Beast? What's going on, man? How you been? Long time no see. Long time no see." He says, "Elbow cough." Daniel Kim says, there's no bandwagon with the Raiders. It's a constant stagecoach on fire. You can't be weak of heart being part of the nation." Oh, man. All right. So we got some A's in here. There you go. Got some Bama people in here. We got Salvatore Bruno got an A in here. There you go. Okay. See, no one says Tennessee. Ain't nobody saying Tennessee right now. Ain't nobody saying Tennessee right now. All right. DJS says A. There you go. And there's 50 of you guys watching this live stream. If you like what I have to provide you guys here on this wacky Wednesday, give this video a thumbs up. It will help recommend this video to other YouTube subscribers like yourself and other people who are on YouTube like yourself, who love the Raider Nation like yourself, and always look for that silver and black content. I am one and only BEASTwriter. There's other people who I'm telling you, people make fake accounts of me. People try to be me. But there's only one Beast, bro. I'm telling you. I'm joking, but no, seriously. Why would somebody make an account, like fake accounts? I don't know. It's been happening since with the Niners. I don't know why they do that. It's weird. I think it's weird, but hey, it's flattering, but kind of annoying at the same time because then I have to explain myself. That's not me, bro. I didn't say that. Like, that's not me. Literally had this conversation with one of my followers two days ago because Twitter took down the verification thing or whatever. So I'm verified, by the way. And so someone paid for a verification of me, which is weird. And they were like trying to pretend to be me. I'm like, and then they came back to me like, "You said that." I was like, "I didn't say that." But then they're like, "No, that's you." I was like, "No, that's not me." But then it's funny because I had to double check because it was the same profile picture, same everything. So it was weird. Hopefully Twitter cleans that up on the verification thing. It's annoying. It's annoying, but I think they'll do a good job at that because obviously it's Twitter. All right, you should rock Penn State. Love the colors and the logo. I like. Okay, so Penn State is a good school. I like them. I liked them basically dating back to the 2000 NFL draft. I believe it was 2000. I think that was my junior year, sophomore, junior year in high school. During that year, there was two guys by the name of LeVar Arrington and Courtney Brown. I remember, if you guys don't remember or knew, I was coming from the San Francisco 49ers, obviously growing up in the Bay Area. Obviously, the Raiders were one team and the Niners were the other, but half my family was Niners, half my team was Raiders. But during that time, my family had front row season tickets to the Niner games at Candlestick. And Penn State, I remember, I think this was around Christmas time. I think they were playing the Washington Redskins at the time. I forgot the name of the team. But it was like around Christmas time, around this time. And I made a sign that said, "All I want is Courtney Brown." Because Courtney Brown came from Penn State. I was like, "Oh, I like Courtney Brown." I should have said, "All I want is LeVar Arrington." But no, both those guys were picked up very early. I think they were drafted 2 and 3 in the NFL draft if I'm not mistaken, I think that's what they were drafted at. But yeah, Penn State. And I just turned on the Penn State, man. Penn State is a definitely good school. Have a lot of good players. Saquon Barkley came out of there. Gosh, who else came out? Did Miles Sanders come out? I think Miles Sanders came out of there too. Played behind Saquon Barkley. They had some linebackers come out of there. Yeah, Penn State's a good school. Jeff Turner says, what about Isaiah Palomar? Talk to him today. Talk to my guy, Isaiah Palomar. Me and him talk, just like with Matthew. I talk to these guys all the time, like all the time. And me and Isaiah, we are literally actively searching here in Las Vegas for a good Mexican spot. I'm telling you, because, you know, both from SoCal. I went to school at San Diego State. He went to USC, obviously. So we're talking about carne asada fries. And if you guys are new, you know, we talk about food games in here, the GOB. But no, this is funny, right? This is a cool story. So like I was talking, literally had this conversation with Isaiah today. So I was like, bro, let me tell you something. I went to this place called Lindo, Michoacan. And it's hyped, but I gotta tell you, man, I'm not a fan of the shredded beef, bro. It's like, what, like, was it good? I was like, the stuff I got, I didn't like it, but maybe it's because I'm Americanized. I don't know what it is, bro, but I didn't like it. But I'm used to like Mexican food. I went to San Diego State, you know, I went to Mexico a lot. So like it wasn't really hitting the spot for me. I said the meat was dry, but I said the tamale was good. The tamale was excellent. The masa was just melt in your mouth. Great. But I got the combination plate and I was telling him, I was just literally had this conversation with him. And I was like, man, I ain't like the shredded beef though. I kind of like the ground beef. He's like, oh, me too. He's like, I'm not down for the shredded. It's like, I like the ground beef because, you know, when it gets dry and so forth. And so he's like, it gets stuck in your teeth. And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, I was about the ground beef. I was upset I didn't get the ground beef. So maybe I got the wrong thing. My guy, Harry Ruiz, said I got the wrong thing. I saw him at the game. And then because he recommended Lindo, Michoacan. And so and I posted this on Twitter, posted what I ate. And I was like, oh, man, this is going to hit the spot. And the reason for that is because the first thing I ate before posting that picture was the tamale. And so the tamales are awesome, by the way. But if I got to be honest with you, maybe I'm just not. I can't say I know what good Mexican food is because I've obviously been to Mexico plenty of times. I wasn't a fan. And I grew up in San Jose, which is obviously, you guys know there's Mexican food all over, good Mexican food places. So I wasn't a fan. Was not a fan of it. Maybe I have to go back. Maybe you guys can tell me what to go back and get. Herman says, are you going to add more to the wall? I am. Once I get more money to go ahead and do that, and I'm have some savings in here, I'm actually thinking about framing the jacket. That's my jacket that I have. I'm going to be framing that bad boy. And I also have my credentials from dating back to the 49ers. I have so many credentials. I think I threw like half of them away. But because you get so many over the course of like when I started covering the 49ers back in 2012. But gosh, dang, it's been that long. 2012 is when I started covering the Niners and then covering the Raiders. Now this is my first year covering the Raiders. So you can imagine all the credentials that kind of racked up in the shoebox. Actually, no, it's not in the shoebox because when I moved to Vegas, it was in a freaking big old box. But yeah, I'm going to make a collage. I have some Raider stuff now, Raider credentials. Thanks to the Raiders PR for giving me access to be on the beat this year. So I'm really excited to like make that. So maybe for Christmas, like I can ask for like a frame. No, we have a frame, but to like get it really like looking cool. And maybe I'll put that back here. That'd be kind of cool. I think that'd be a cool backdrop. But yeah. All right. Raider ribs. Ooh, Raider ribs. I like that. Now I kind of want some barbecue ribs. Not that you mentioned that. I want some barbecue ribs right now. Texas Roadhouse is just down the street from my house. I can just walk to Texas Roadhouse. And by the way, go to Texas Roadhouse, man. Really cool people over there. All right. How about we take Anderson in first and Hooker in second, and both Yobinis will be a Herndon Hooker. I get it. And there's a lot of hype on him. All you guys be talking about Herndon Hooker. I knew that was going to come up at some point. But yes, that would work. You know, I got Hooker on here. I got Will Anderson on here. Who knows? Maybe we'll pick up some other DBs too. No, I don't know. I think I really like Duron Harmon. I like him. I like him as a person. I like him as a player. I think he's really smart. I think he needs to be re-signed as well. CJ is a really good player, man. I cannot say that CJ is not a good player. I have so much respect for that guy. Ohio State University always turns out these freaking ballers. I mean, just like a Justin. I loved Justin Fields coming out of college. Justin Fields was a beast in his own right, right? I like Justin Fields coming out. Joe Burrow. Oh, he's LSU. But before. Anyways, D Menace, thank you so much. Aloha says for the road game fun, brother. Yeah, thank you so much, man. And for the super chat and super sticker. And I always love engaging with you. Yeah, for those who don't know, if you donate to the Dark Side of BEASTwriter, obviously it helps pay for the bills. My 9 to 5 obviously it pays for those bills. But it also helps pay for me going on a road trip. And I really want to go and attend a road game for all of you guys, because odds are if you like the coverage that I'm providing, you're going to like the same coverage that I'm going to be providing in a different venue. I think that would be really cool. Unfortunately, I am self-employed, or fortunately, I kind of made that path myself, but I am new. So in order for me to go on these road trips, I have to pay my own expenses. So basically it's like $1,000 trip every time I go somewhere, upwards, renting a car, hotel, all of that. So, I mean, and then obviously based on where you're going. So the flight itself. So it can add up really, really quick. And so that's why I'm trying to use the YouTube channel to kind of save all the funds that I get from the super chat and super stickers here on YouTube, and putting that in a separate account and using that money to go ahead and cover that game for you guys, because I know you guys like the content that I provide here on YouTube. So thank you so much, man. It really means a lot. And also, aside from that, just me going that road trip, and let's be honest about this. Any money left over, if there is money left over, will be funneled back into you guys, so I can run bigger giveaways. So the more the merrier, right? Like, I always give back, and you guys will know. You guys aren't stupid, right? Like, it's not like, oh, I'm gonna pocket the money. Like, nah, you guys would know. Like, obviously, if you watch consistently enough, you're gonna know what's going on. So, and I'm very transparent anyway. So, thank you so much for the super chat and super sticker. I really appreciate it. But I do want to give from all the super chat and super stickers as well. And anybody who sends me a super chat, super sticker, just go onto the community YouTube page, and you'll know that we will run weekly giveaways. So not only do I want to go on a road game and cover road games moving forward, but also if, let's say, we don't hit that goal, all the money that I get, I'm going to funnel it back into you guys and give out bigger prizes. So, this week's a rally towel. Maybe that next week is a Raiders helmet, or it could be an autographed jersey, whatever the case may be. So it's just really cool, man. Like I said, man, it's all good vibes only here in the DOB. But thank you so much, Dennis. I appreciate the love, Bear. And thank you for modding, bro. Appreciate it. Smooth R says, "What up, Beast Raiders?" I like that, dude. Hearing that at Allegiant Stadium is freaking nuts. Hearing it at Oakland Coliseum is nuts too when they go Raiders. They're crazy. By the way, I'm so new to the Raider Nation, but there's different like number one fans. I don't know if you call it super fans. I guess you call it a super fan, right? So, what's her name? I was on Instagram. And I was looking, and some people show up in your feed, or what do you call it? What do you call it? The feed or whatever on Instagram. And then was it the one Raider? It was a female. It's just her name is like the one Raider piece. Oh gosh, I gotta find it now. I'm drawing a blank. Anyways, it's like the one lady Raider or something like that. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys know where I'm going with this. Anyways, she dresses up. And I thought that was pretty cool because like she was at the Allegiant Stadium, and it'd be cool to have met her because she was like all decked out. Salvatore Bruno says, "Who was your most memorable locker room interview? Good or bad?" No. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Gosh, there've been so many with the Raiders, or with the Niners, or with another team, or where are we going with this? Locker room interview. That's a great question. Man. I mean, Patrick Willis was always good to me. Bowman was always good to me. We always had good interviews. Bowman and Willis always gave me good interviews. Who else was really good? Oh, obviously Jimmy Ward, my boy. He always gave good interviews. But Quentin Dial, Roll Tide Roll, my guy, always gave me good interviews. That's with the Niners. I'm trying to think of the top of the top. Mostly everyone gave good interviews, but these guys gave me really good interviews. But with the Raiders, there's a lot. I mean, the Raiders, there's a lot of them. I mean, you can go down the list with Josh Jacobs, one of my favorite. Oh gosh, I love Josh Jacobs, man. I talked about it with you guys with Case, man. Like we both, like on a personal level, just love this guy personally. Great guy, great person. Aside, forget the football stuff. I mean, you want to talk as a man, as a leader on a football team. I would hate to see Josh Jacobs not be in the silver and black next year. This guy's just too damn valuable, man. Like, I feel like it's my mission to keep writing and pushing for Josh Jacobs. So ultimately, I'm not sure it's going to be enough. I don't know if he's I hope he gets retained, man, because GM Dave Ziegler already went on record and say, hey, he keeps playing the way he's playing, he's going to get re-signed. Now, the question remains to be seen. What if the offensive line doesn't perform at the level when he made those comments? Are you going to put that on Josh Jacobs? Because obviously it starts up front. I mean, let's face it, Jonathan Taylor can't get any room to run if he doesn't have an offensive line that can block for him. So it kind of goes 1A, 1B, right? So it goes hand in hand. So I don't know. I think Josh Jacobs is a really, really good interview. Like talking to him a lot. Amir Abdullah, another one of my guys who I really like to talk and discuss football with, and just we talk workouts too. We just talked about workouts the other day. Who else is there that's really good? Davante is always good, always gives good stuff. Derek Carr is always good, gives good stuff. Who else is there? I love Dylan Parham. That guy, just love talking to that guy. Very smart, very studious of the game. Film junkie, you can tell. I love talking to those rookies like Matthew Butler, Neil Farrell, Kyle Pecco. I like talking to Kyle Pecco, the veteran Kyle Pecco, just been inserted. Like talking to him a lot. Amik Robinson's always funny. Dude, no one makes bigger plays than Amik Robertson this year in the back end, man. Amik Robertson is making plays, bro. Like, my boy's just fucking making plays, bro. Like, what do you want to say about that? Like, Amik Robinson's a beast. Beast approved. So Amik Robinson's always fun. Joked about with him today in the locker room along with Roderick Teamer. Isaiah Polomal, obviously, talk to him on a daily basis. I was just naming all the players. Everybody's just really good. No, it's just Anthony Averett, another one. Talk to these guys like all the time. Every chance I get inside that locker room, just talk to them, like just, hey man, like what's going on? You know what I mean? It's like cool. Like you'll get to know them on a personal level too, because you're talking to them all the time. So it's really cool to see. And they're all great people. That's the one thing that I enjoy. I don't think too many people understand this, and I want people to understand this, is that locker room. GM Dave Ziegler, Coach McDaniels has done a really good job in bringing the right people in terms of personal character. We talk about football character. That's one thing on the buy-in and stuff, but the personal character from on the personal standpoint, these guys are very, they're just good people. They're just really good people. And I've been around, a lot of them over the course of my career as a beat writer, but I love this locker room. I really do. I really like this locker room. Darian Butler's always been a cool guy to talk to. Obviously, Denzel Perryman, he's really, really cool to talk to. Divine Diablo, really good guy to talk to and get information and really just pick their brains on, the pulse of the team. Because, you're asking them what's going on with the team, or like, how you have this XYZ team coming up. What do you see from this player? So, it's really cool to get to know some of these guys. And I didn't even know that, to be honest with you. I didn't know that Josh Jacobs was part Filipino. He was having this conversation with me last week, and we had this real long conversation about that. And I thought it was really cool. And we were talking about Filipino food. It's like, oh, you must eat pancit and adobo. He's like, oh, I eat all that. And then we're, oh, do you eat toron? He's like, oh yeah, I eat toron. So like, people were looking at us, like the players were looking at us, like, what are they talking about? Like, man, you don't know about that life. You don't know about that life. You have kare kare, like, do you eat that? Yeah. So it's funny because I did not know that Josh Jake. I told him, I said, Josh, I didn't even know you were part Filipino. That's totally cool. Yeah. But yeah, all those guys are good people. All right. DJS says best recommended Super Bowl defense strategy based on your review. Super Bowl defense? It depends who you're playing. It depends on if we're talking about scheme. Now you're talking about scheme. It depends on who you're playing. Depends what kind of rules of engagement you're going to be using on the defense on front seven. Also depends on how you see the game playing out based on what the opposing team is going to do or what you think they're going to do, right? And then also what kind of adjustments they're going to make before they make those adjustments. So there's a lot of different layers there, and that's kind of like a loaded question. But if you were to ask me, simplest form, if I like a 3-4 or a 4-3 base team, if personnel doesn't matter, I like a 3-4 defense for today's NFL. And the reason I say that is because you need a lot of speed. And again, we talk about the running quarterback these days, the dual threat quarterback, a lot of these wide receivers now, a lot of spread formations that we see that we normally otherwise wouldn't see in the early 90s. So again, you're seeing tight ends not being tight ends like how they were used during the Brent Jones days, during the, even the Daryl Johnston days or the Jay Novacek days or whatever the case may be, Mark Chmura days, right? So you're seeing these guys kind of come to fruition in terms of the tight end position is really an extra wide receiver. It's just basically a wide receiver on steroids. I don't know how else to put it because they're bigger. And a lot of times they can inline block too. So I would like a 34 base defense. I would like three defensive linemen who can two gap their way into the backfield, resetting the line of scrimmage. I would at least need one of those. Ideally, I'd like one of those defensive linemen to be a double-digit sack artist, or at least close to it, kind of like a Justin Smith on the outside, and then also have two edge rushers who can produce double-digit sacks a year in and year out, and then also have inside linebackers who can really fly sideline to sideline and make those necessary adjustments down the seams in pass coverage and do a well enough job to where they can hold up in pass coverage. Obviously, if it was your choice, you would have the 49ers 2012 defense where they just had like 7 all-pros, but you don't have that luxury with Ahmad Brooks, Navarro Bowman, Patrick Willis, Alden Smith, Justin Smith, the Smith brothers. And then you also had Carlos Rogers, Deshaun Goldson, and Dante Whitner on the back end. I mean, how many times does that happen? Doesn't happen very often. So, yeah. Daniel says, based on things said during the pressers, do you think people not buying in will get bent? We need all hands on deck to keep the integrity of our team intact. Look, I'm just saying, Daniel, that's a great question. Thank you for modding, my guy. And also, thank you for always supporting us here in the dark side of BEASTwriter and helping the channel grow, man. It really means a lot. I just want to say that before answering the question. And getting back to your question, I think that if you're not buying in, I would definitely not play you. I would deactivate. I would use you as an example. And it's not necessarily throwing anyone under the bus. It's a known thing. Look, if you're a coach from a coaching perspective, then there's someone that you know that's not buying into the program or buying into what the ideologies are or the teachings are and what you're trying to teach and preach, whether it be technique, whether it be teaching the fundamentals during practice, whether it be taking proper angles to the ball carrier, and you're just not a shoulder leveraging tackle type of a guy, and you're saying, you know what, forget these freaking shoulder leverage tackling techniques they're teaching in training camp. It's not working anyways. We're 2-7. I'm going to do things my way. So then that leads to what? Dysfunction. If you're going to be a dysfunctional football player, you're going to be a cancer for that football team, and you're not going to be on my team. So I would definitely forget not even playing you. I would just cut you outright. I would make you an example. I would be like, nah, you're cut. Or at the very least, I'd try to trade you to somewhere else where I can kind of get something in return. Now, odds are you can get something in return? I mean, we don't know. Depends on what player we're talking about. I mean, we really don't know which players these are, right? So it's kind of like we don't know. What we do know is Cleve Farrell was a healthy scratch last week. What we do know is some of these other players that I think should be activated on game days aren't. So it's hard to say whether or not, how do I say this? I guess a better answer would be plain and simple. Yes. Like I would not play them. You know, I think they will get benched. I think as from a coaching perspective, I don't care who you are. If you're not buying in, you're not helping us. You're a liability, not an asset. So if you're a liability, let's trim the fat where we need to trim the fat, and let's gain that lean muscle mass, right? Let's gain that lean muscle mass because we don't want fat on our team. We don't want. Let's trim it. Let's cut down on the fat, cut down on the bad vibes, and let's get rid of that. All right. Rich Vitale said, Webb knocked out Quentin Nelson. I saw that. It's Quentin Nelson was on the ground for a minute. Yeah, Sam Webb ain't holding back, bro. I like it. And that's why I said, Sam Webb, good game today, bro. He's like, oh, man, thanks. And Sam Webb is a man of few words. If you remember, if you follow me on YouTube, you saw my pregame warm-ups with Sam Webb covering Rock Yassin, covering Sam Webb signing autographs for all you Raider Nation who were there in attendance, front row and center. Good guy. Thank you so much, Mika, for the Raider Nation Germany for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. And hopefully you're doing well in Germany. I wish I could speak German. That'd be dope. A lot of my fraternity brothers are German and they speak German and they're from Germany. But no, thank you so much for he said Road Game Fund. But no, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Daniel Kim says, Facts Beast, get rid of the cancers, man. Yeah, we don't need cancers, man. That's what I'm saying. We don't need cancers on this team. So if you're not buying into the program, then you need to go. And I think what's cool about this is, again, looking at it from just not a fan's perspective lens, because I can do that too, but looking at it not just from a media perspective, because I can do that too, but looking at it from a coaching perspective, from a GM perspective, those are the layers that you want to start off with. Because if you go and look at it from one of the other two lenses that I aforementioned, it's going to be a little bit difficult to see and make this analysis that I need to make in regards to the football team. If you look at it from what GM Dave Ziegler and what head coach Josh McDaniels are trying to do, it makes sense. It really does. And so that's why I'm not like hitting the panic button. That's why I have a smile on my face. It's like, dude, everything's chill. Like, we just need to chill out. Now, if they have this type of season next year, then we in trouble. All right? Then that's when we need to start hitting the panic button. Like, hey, maybe I was wrong. But the way I see things going, I don't see that happening. They had one of the hardest, toughest schedules going into the year already. The expectations were already set at a very high standard thanks to NFL Network and ESPN and all those other big top networks. Super Bowl or bust. That's the storyline. And what did I say? I said that let's pump the brakes. They played in the AFC West. Everyone in the AFC West got better. I said 10-7 if we're lucky. New regime, new coaching staff. It's going to take some time. So, yeah, but thank you so much, Mika, from the Raider Nation Germany for the super sticker. I appreciate it and hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. Johnny Stormbeat says, thanks for the content, bro. No, thank you. I appreciate it. V says, literally suffering on this diet right now. That was motivational. Just trim the fat, baby. I'm just saying, like, for real, we all look. I'm just keeping it 100. Like, we need to trim the fat when we need to trim the fat. I just call it what it is. Like my coach, just call it what it is, bro. You need to, even though I don't look fat, I'm like, nah, man, like you're at 10% fat. Nah, we need to trim that. Trim the fat, bro. Maybe let's tweak. Your progress pics don't look good, man. 99% of the people that says it look good, but the 1%, including me, says don't look good. So let's trim the fat. Do more fasted cardio. Extra 30 minutes every day until next check-ins next week. Monday, no shirt on. 5 a.m. in the morning, an empty stomach. Front and back. Do it. If you compete in the NPC IFBB, you know what I'm talking about. Whether you're female or male. Stormy Beat says, we need Anderson or Carter for real, and keep building our team. F the outside noise, keep building. I like it. Yeah, you know what? The noise is going to be the noise. And if I'm being quite honest, the players do listen to the noise. Even though they say they don't listen, they listen. You know why? Because everyone's on social media, including them. Athletes are included in this. Celebrities are included in this. So the noise is going to be heard whether you want it or not. You don't have time to block every single person that just at you. Like, it's like, okay, dude, this guy's freaking annoying. Or this girl's freaking, or this bot's freaking annoying. But no, they do hear the noise. I'm sure they hear the noise because obviously they have a TV. It's not like they're living under a rock. They probably watch ESPN, probably watching this live stream, probably watching NFL Network, probably watching all the other social media outlets, right? And it's good to do that too. If I was an athlete, I would definitely listen to the noise in terms of using it as a motivational factor, because I'm just weird like that. Like, I like people when people doubt me and they make them look stupid. It always happens. Don't doubt the beast. I'm joking. Kind of not, though. OKC Raider 4FS, I've supported Derek basically his whole career, but I feel already we need to move on. Do you see a situation where McDaniels moves on from Derek? Yes. The answer is yes. I can definitely see that happening. Financially, it could make sense if you trade him. Now, if you release him, that's a different story. But if you trade him, I can definitely see that happening, and where they can kind of move on from him. Again, if you release him, or sorry, if you trade him post June 1, you're saving $17.5 million. If you trade him before the draft, you're saving $11.8 million. Now, if you release him, that's where you're going to kind of tread on some waters here, right? So if you release them and you choose to release them with a pre-June 1 designation, you're only, well, you're not, I shouldn't say you're going to be taking a cap hit of $5.5 million based on the dead money tied to that contract. If you designate them as a post-June 1 release, then you're going to be saving only $100,000. So it's basically a wash. But yeah, I can definitely see that happening. All right, guys, we are 1 hour and 47 minutes and 17 seconds in. If you like the channel, please give it a thumbs up, because again, I want to grow the Dark Side of BEASTwriter family. I know you want to grow the Dark Side of BEASTwriter family, because there's an incentive for you in doing so and sharing the content on all your social media platforms. Please do so, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. Share the content on your social media, retweet the videos. I don't care. Do whatever it takes to help grow the Dark Side of BEASTwriter. If you're having Friendsgiving with family over during the holidays, and I'm going to be doing these live streams here, because again, I'm not going back home to the Bay Area. I'm actually staying here in lovely Las Vegas. So I'm going to be hopping on a live stream. Maybe I'll do a Thanksgiving live stream, because you guys can watch me from your own. No, you guys probably doing your own things. But if you have nothing else to do or nothing better to do, I'll be hopping on a live stream. So please, 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 we want to grow the Dark Side of BEASTwriter family. I am doing whatever it takes, working long hours. You guys know I don't go to sleep till 3 a.m. and then wake up again at 6:30 a.m. So I only get like 3-4 hours of sleep. And I love doing it because, again, without you guys in my corner, I wouldn't be where I am today. So basically, my adrenaline is the Dark Side of BEASTwriter family. You guys are what makes me grow. So thank you so much, everyone, for all that you guys do. Again, nothing but good vibes here in the Dark Side of BEASTwriter. I just want to say thank you. Special thanks to those who gave me the super chat and super stickers today. And I didn't want to forget you guys before we leave, because we always do that. Thank you so much, Daniel Kim, for modding the channel, and also for that 3 a.m. coffee. Thank you so much. And I actually need more coffee. And my favorite one, by the way, if we're talking about coffee, I have a Keurig here, but I go to the Costco down the street, and my favorite one's that San Francisco one. Maybe because I'm from the Bay, but I just had it this time, and I like it better than Pete's coffee. I like it better than Pete's. Now, call me crazy, but I like it better than Pete's. But no, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Definitely will go toward that fund for sure. Thank you, D Menace, for also modding and helping out with that road game fund. I really appreciate it, and it means a lot. You've been nothing but good vibes only since day one. Mika from Raider Nation Germany, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. And again, hailing from Germany, we're growing the dark side of BEASTwriter. We're now internationally growing. We're not just here in the United States. We are growing in other parts of the world. So thank you so much, Germany, for giving me a vote of confidence with that super sticker. It means a lot. And Raider Nation Germany, hopefully you guys are doing well over there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are awesome. And again, I wouldn't be here without you guys in my corner. I'm going to hop off this live stream as we end the live stream on a good, positive note. I hope I made some sense today as we keep things hot here in the dark side of BEASTwriter. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I had a good day. Take care. BEASTwriter out.